we said that there were two things that legally happened at the cross. That's where we ended in our last session. There are two things that legally transpired at the cross. Number one, all my sin and the sin of the whole what? The whole world was put upon Jesus and died when he died. And then we gave this verse. This was Colossians chapter 2. When you were dead in your transgressions, he made you alive, having forgiven us, having canceled out the certificate of death consisting of decrees against us. He has taken it out of the way, having nailed it to the cross. So the decrees that were against us, the sin, the rebellion, and the nature of sin, which is the heart of unbelief, is what sin really is. It's an act of unbelief. That the legality of it is that the sins of the whole world were put upon Jesus. We read in 2 Corinthians 5, he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, that as a result we would be the righteousness of God, or that in us God would demonstrate that he is righteous. Now, how does God demonstrate through the cross that he is righteous? The soul of sin must die. So there had to be a death. Thank God it was the death of another and not the death of ourselves. So the first thing that legally happened on the cross is that when Jesus died, our sins died. Now let's go to the second thing, because this is so very, very important. See, all Christians agree with the first one. But what we have to be able to live in is the second one. And this is where the battle is. How God felt about my sin was also put upon Jesus, so that when he died, how God felt. How God felt. The justified, righteous anger of a most holy God against my sin, my selfishness, my self-rulership. How God felt about that. The righteous, deserved anger of God was placed upon Jesus. You remember we read in Isaiah 53 where it said, "For it pleased the Lord to crush him." Now think about those words. It pleased the Father to crush the Son with the weight of our sin and our iniquity. Why would that please the Father? Because he knew the outcome or the result would be many offspring, many sons. And ladies, this is actually gender neutral when we say many sons. You ladies have to appreciate being a son of God, and men, you have to appreciate being the bride of Christ. See, these are actually not gender, but roles that we have, and relational roles that we have with God. So this is so very, very important, and we wrapped it up in our last session by saying, what did Noah know that we need to know? God said to Noah, "I swear to you, I will never again flood the earth." Now, because God knows that he created human beings with feelings, that's an essential part of who we are. God knew that every time it started to rain, what feeling would rise up in Noah and his kids? Fear. They would begin to get fearful that perhaps the bad thing was going to happen again. So God puts a sign in the sky so that when they feel fear just begin, they can immediately make a choice to look at the sign, and it would wash fear out of them. Now that's in Isaiah 53, we said was this great messianic. He was wounded for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquity. The iniquity of us all was laid upon him. It pleased the Lord to crush him and to bruise him so that we would have peace, so that we would be right and righteous in the sight of God. That's Isaiah 53. And then we kept right on reading into Isaiah 54 where it says, "For this is like the days of Noah to me, when I swore to Noah that I would never again flood the whole earth. I now swear to you, if you will believe the truth in the previous chapter, that I put all the iniquity of you and the world upon my son, if you'll believe that, then I am now swearing to you that I will not ever be" what? Angry with you. Listen to me very carefully. If your faith is in the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, God cannot be mad at you. Well, yeah, but you don't know how I've been acting. Oh, I can guess. You're human enough for me to take a pretty good guess. You say, well, if God sees everything about me, how can He not be mad? Because this is about His nature, not ours. We are recipients of Jesus living in us. Colossians 1:27, Christ in you, the hope of glory. So this is about His nature, not ours. Now we said that one of the reasons that the early believers could live with unwavering peace and abounding joy, even though they freely admitted, as we looked in an earlier session, they freely admitted that they were not yet perfect. They all struggled with areas of carnality. They were in process in their lives of being sanctified, which means there are parts of their life which are yet unsanctified. And yet they lived with a confidence that did not waver because they were sure of their eternal end with God, that we will be forever made into the image of Jesus. So rather than allow our current struggles to condemn us, we stand confident in our current struggles because we already know the preordained end for us. That if we stay with Him, we will be made like Him. And wherever we are in that process, we can be confident, not because of our current nature issues, but because of God's nature, God's character.